What's good, y'all? When I say P, I mean profit. When I say S, I mean Sia. You dig it what I'm saying, baby? Now let's keep it moving. Follow the feng shui. Yeah, dig it? Bienvenue podcast, man. Welcome to the Z podcast, man. And we got another episode for y'all. Episode 2. And we're going to show y'all what this going to be about. I'm already knowing y'all going to like it. So let's get into it. Let's break it down for y'all. I wouldn't really consider myself as a teacher. I never thought I'd be here. Here I am. All right. So, y'all are wondering, some of y'all, maybe some not. You see this picture, and what does this picture exactly represents? Um, before I read, before I read y'all the internet definition, to give you my own definition, my own connotation and representation of what this image means to me, because everybody's correspondences is different. This picture to me represents as above, so below, and that's the Kabbalion. You can search that up. It's a book for those who do know, for those who don't know. But as above, so below, and this can also mean the world within. A lot of us, a lot of people I've noticed do not really realize how your internal world really can affect your outside world. And this picture just always stimulates my mind. Certain pictures stimulates my mind. Like, what do you see? Even every little thing in this picture even means something. Like at the bottom, we notice there's snakes at the bottom root of the tree. Then you can see there's little paths or like a maze or something, and then you see there's another way to get to the top. And then after you get to the top, there's another world or another level. Excuse me for that. There's another world, there's another level. And you know, there's a snake eating itself at the top, which I think would means self-realization or self-initiation. At least I would think so. Then there's the mountain, and the mountain to me would represent you at the top, like mentally wise, state of mind wise. Nothing can really get to you or affect you or bother you, And then there's trees all the way at the top growing. Um, you can say that's a covenant to protect your mind, because once you're at the top, you got to make sure that you're protected. But to give the internet definition, levels of consciousness refer to the varying degree of awareness and perception in individual experiences, ranging from full alertness to deep unconsciousness. At the highest level, full consciousness, a person is fully aware of their surroundings, thoughts, and feelings, and can respond appropriately to stimuli. This is the state in which we engage in daily activities, make decisions, and interact with the world. Below this is a state of reduced awareness, such as daydreaming or being in a light sleep, where awareness of the environment diminishes, but some level of consciousness remains. Further down the spectrum is deep sleep, where consciousness is largely absent, though the mind remains active in processing information and consolidating memories. At the lowest level is a state of complete unconsciousness, such as a coma, where there is no awareness or response to external stimuli. These levels illustrate the complex and dynamic nature of consciousness, highlighting how our awareness shifts throughout the day and in different situations. Perfect, right? So the snakes, you're looking at the bottom. That can be meaning you're in a state of mind of not really knowing where you are and you're unaware. And you could say almost in a fear state of mind. A lot of people are in a state of mind. And this episode is going to be about levels of consciousness and the states of mind that people shift between in and out of every day, whether consciously or unconsciously. And I got some things that maybe you can help or start with to get you out of those lower states of mind. Something small, 1% better every day. We don't have to do nothing crazy or nothing huge or nothing big. Just anything that can get us from away from where we are now. Whether you are in a good spot or a bad spot, it doesn't matter about good or bad. What matters is growing. And I would say a lower state of mind would be basically at the in this picture. There's snakes at the bottom, right? So you're around a bunch of people who you don't really know, who's not really in your best interest, or you're people pleasing, and you may be doing things. You may have a negative to it that plays a certain part that puts you in a certain state of mind that has you in these certain situations. And the top of the tree from this picture kind of looks like a snow globe too. When you take a look, step back, looks like a snow globe a little bit, like a globe or something. Um, the top of the tree would be more of in a higher state of mind where you can say you're in a more of a alertness, awareness, emotional intelligence. You're having the skills to decipher and discern what's real and what's not real, what's fake and what's not fake, what's a snake, what's not a snake. Um, I guess you can also say that's what the mountains outside of the top of that could mean too. It could mean like um, the mountains are the rocks outside of that circle is very sharp, right? So that can be a sign of like um, protection. You're being protected. It's not easily crossed over to get to where you're at. You got to go through a lot of sharp mountains or rocks or obstacles to even get there. And even that can be an illusion because you can only be the real person who can get you where you need to be. But if anybody was to have intentionally any harm or any ill will or ill intent, this would be a good representation of it. With that being said, on to the next. This picture right here, I don't know, it just really stood out to me. It really makes me feel green. It feels like healing. It feels satisfying to see. It feels warm. It feels centeredness. I feel centeredness when I see this picture. So I thought maybe this would be a good representation for anybody else to see, maybe to stimulate your mind, this different colors, and even color vibration is a thing too. So I think in the middle would be a representation of balance and being whole and being interconnected to the top and to the bottom. And just to get, if anybody ever seen the movie Cloudy of the Chance of Meatballs, you can even watch that movie too. It's a good meaning to good movie to connect to try to connect the dots. Anything, any movie, any card, anything can be a meaning of something. Just depends on your correspondences. But in the movie, it was a food. It was a machine that he created, Flint Lockwood, turning water into food, and water would come from the top, and food would come out the bottom. But what was in the middle was what mattered the most because the machine eventually became, I would say, ill or like it became, um, it gained a mind of its own, a brain of its own, and it realized what its purpose was. So it decided to go rogue because it knew it was more than what it was capable of. So it started producing bigger food that was alive, and started to attack people and tsunamis and take over the world, basically food wise, because it wanted to show its true power, its true capability, and it didn't need the creator, which was Flint Lockwood, that built the machine before it became corrupt. So I just say all that because that's what this kind of also remind me of. But what matters is what's in the middle. You have to make sure you are balanced in this life, and if you're not balanced, you're operating through a state of fear, or you're operating through the states of lower colors. I would say the lower colors at the bottom, they're still colors. They're still vibrant. Even lower colors can still be high vibration. Lower levels or lower thoughts can still be high vibration because it's still a vibration that you have to even be on to be a match to a certain higher frequency to pull that down. You can be in a lower energy or lower vibration and still pull down thoughts from up, which means there's always levels, which means the level you're at, if you think of the level you're at, right, and you think you got it bad, and then there's someone going through it worse, they're pulling higher thoughts from the level you're at, which to them can be high level, which is why I still say no matter what level you at, it's all that matters is that you're growing, and whatever color you're with, all that matters is that you're growing. At least you have a color, and having the right attitude of gratitude, a right attitude can get you farther than anything in this world. You can go through whatever. You got the attitude of turning negatives into positives, you'll get far. Trust and believe. So, on to the next. This is a tool that I think will help a lot of people who are watching this video or podcast or stream, whatever phone, whatever you're on right now. Laughter is the best medicine in the world, and it's by Milton Bazili. Um, I just like the quote. I think laughter is actually a really good tool to help you evolve. A lot of us, don't laugh. The so-called black man and woman, you don't really see a lot of people just laughing out in public or laughing out loud, just in genuinely enjoying the video or something that they're watching. Um, that comes from just being with yourself long enough to accept yourself, to know that it's okay to laugh, it's okay to smile. Sometimes we forget to smile, we forget to laugh, and we forget what's really important in life. So if you do want to start somewhere and are seeking opportunities to grow and evolve, I think the best thing to do is to laugh. Now, I would say do your own research, do your own studying, do your own experimenting. What works for another person might not work for the next person. So maybe you need to find something else. That's okay. We're going to provide as many resources as we can for y'all to grow and evolve. I'm going to provide as many resources as I can for y'all to grow and evolve. And it's like I'm speaking to myself just as much as I'm speaking to y'all. So, on to the next. Once again, another laughter quote. But this is like a definition. I think if I was to put laughter as my own definition, I would use this. Why? Because when you smile, you have an orgasm. When a smile has an orgasm, a smile can be a person. Like your smile can have like how can I put it? Your smile can exist without you forcing yourself to smile. That makes sense. I know it does. Hear me out. Wait, hear me out. If you always that's a certain person. When you're like, that's a certain person. When you like, you're a certain person. When you like, you're a certain person. When you like, uh, you're a certain person. We are expressing emotions daily, whether we're aware of it or not. Your smile can express itself whether you're aware of it or not. You don't be outside be like, oh, I'm smiling. Let me start smiling. If you are like that, this is why you need to smile. This is why you need to laugh. Because who told why you all of a sudden gotta stop smiling because you out in public or something? Why all of a sudden you gotta stop laughing because somebody don't walk by and they was looking like that's their face. That ain't your face. Your face is your face. If your face want to smile right now, let it smile. Let it have an orgasm. If your face want to look mean, let it look mean. It's your face. It ain't my face. So I ain't got no problems with it. You ever seen people that kind of naturally always look mean? They say, oh, that's just my face. That's just no, it's just no, it's not just your face. It's you was born with a certain emotion that you never dealt with. And it's no way in hell somebody's born, excuse my language, ain't no way in the world somebody's born with just I don't like you. What? 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 You feel it. You feel when a person just be like. So it's like if you naturally have a face like that, you need to be smiling more. You need to be laughing more, cause you ain't laughed and smiled and no God knows how long. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, on to the next. This right here is the tree of life and the tree of death. Now, what we also see is cosmic light for A and cosmic light for B. Tree of life would be considered universe A. Tree of death would be considered universe B. This right here would be more a left hand and a right hand path. As you know, my channel is about spirituality. So, as I'm showing you this, I'm not telling you to pick a path. I'm not telling you to know a path. I'm not telling you to do anything right now. But like, comment, subscribe. But what I am showing you is a representation of how a lot of us are either in an upper tree or in a lower tree as a starting point. You know, you ever heard of the saying good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people? Well, what that means is it's a contradiction. It's a polarity type of thing. And polarity is like opposite, as above, so below. What I was saying earlier, right? So when you have the tree of life and the tree of death, me, for example, I'm gonna speak from experience. We're gonna talk about thought forms. What are thought forms? Thought forms are certain thoughts you think on a day-to-day basis, which means you feel a certain emotion on a day-to-day basis, which means you can still go back to being in a certain state of mind that may not be as alert or as aware with yourself. And that means you are in a lower state of mind, lower state of thoughts, lower state of energy, vibration, which still technically can be high vibration because it could be somebody else in a lower position than you, and they over here looking at you as if you in a higher vibration, but your vibration is just as low. Now that only applies to universe B, which will be a lower tree aspect. So from the lower tree aspect, we have something y'all need to do studying on is archangels and demons. People deem demons as bad, but you do not. You need to know demons. You need to know what they are in order to know what to look out for. How do you know what to look out for if you don't even know what to look out for? You know, oh, that's a demon. That's a demon. But you don't know what a demon actually is. You need to know what a demon is so you know what to look for. You can't just say that's a demon and not know what a demon is. You know what I'm saying? So the lower tree, it says we have Lilith, Samuel, Belial. We have Bethagor. We have Asmodeus. We have Ashtaroth. We have Lucifer. We have Baal. My fault, not Belial, but Baal. We have Lucifer. We have Belial. Then we have Moloch. And on the lower tree, these are arch demons, which actually are connected and related to archangels, believe it or not. And that could be another story, another time, another episode. These demons are a part of the lower tree. Now, I'm not going to go too much into that because that's your own choice, your own will, at your own discretion. We're not here to talk about demons and angels, but demons and angels just so happen to be a part because when you talk about states of mind and states of consciousness, it connects to freaking energy. And I'm not here to tell you that angels help you more than demons help you, or demons help you more than angels help you. I'm here to tell you that you need to do studying on why you have certain thoughts and the way you think, and why you have certain emotions and the way you feel, and why you are naturally experiencing certain outcomes or situations that you are in, because every person's situation or outcome is different. And that's where you can book me for a one-on-one call and we can figure out one-on-one what do you need in specific to be doing at that moment, at that second. um a lot of times people think money is the solution. Not all the time. And I also got a website for y'all too, man. Make sure y'all get ready to check that website out. um it's up and coming. If I don't shout it out because it's Planet Z, but I could be wrong, we're going to put it in the description and we'll have all that situated. PlanetZ.com though. But anyway, yes, when you experience certain emotions which could be perceived as low, you got to think about where you're at spiritually. And there's always there's in life, there's systems, there's paths, there's algorithms. Spiritually, there is certain systems and paths that all of us are on. And somebody might say, oh, God is the knowing all and he knows the path. Right. You are right, totally right about that. You need to be also paying attention to where God has you at. because God was around the strippers, he was around the street dudes, he was around the killers, he was around a lot of dark stuff, right? Why would God be around that? Because without the tree that's growing and sprouting, you need the roots, and the tree of death is technically the roots. So you need to know how to travel between both worlds, universe A and universe B, as you see cosmic light A and cosmic light B, in order to travel. Now, I talked a lot about the lower. Let's talk about the upper. I'm only able to give y'all information that is digestible. Any other more deeper in detail, you have to do your own studying, or you can be one-on-one, call me, or whatever we can do, we can set it up. But I definitely can help. But the tree of life would be more so Malkuth, Yesod, Netzach, Hoid, Tifereth, Yesod, Gibera, Bina, Hakma, and Kether. And this is more where um you got people that's in certain stages in their life where they never really had no negative experiences. They kind of always was like going through life and having a good life. You can say this is, if I was to think of a person, I would think of a person who passed school, did good in school, didn't really have no issues, fights or dramas or nothing, a 4.0 or up GPA, went to college, did all the years in college, didn't have no issues, no nothing, and they got a house, they got an apartment, they got a job, and they was able to live, take care of themselves, and never have to think about some of the life circumstances that I had to go through. Never, it doesn't even exist to them. What I went through doesn't. What I went through can also mean, just because I went through it does not mean another person went through it. It cannot even exist to another person. That's how crazy different aspects of these upper trees and lower tree can affect people individually, because a person can be at a higher tree. Matter of fact, we can use the upper tree for example. We both could be on an upper tree, but there's different aspects, which is why I named the Yesoid Netzach, which is why I'm listing out these different sephiroths on these trees, because these are all these names I listed from the top and the lower tree is different sephiroths, a part of a tree. And the different sephiroths is basically different aspects of a tree. And like, think of this tree branch a little bit bigger than the other tree branch, then you got this tree branch a little bit smaller than the tree branch. These different sizes of the branches is different aspects of a tree that a person may be experiencing on. So you think of that as a pathway to navigate spiritually, to get through a certain hardship through your life, or to continue to having good things happening in your life. And um you think of your sword, right? Well, Malkuth, let's say Malkuth and Lilith. Lilith is the foundation for the lower tree. It's the starting point. Malkuth is the foundation for the upper tree. It's the starting point. We both are on Malkuth, right? And, well, not only gonna say we both. I'm on Malkuth. You're on Tifereth or Hoid or your sword. We're on the same tree, but we're on two different aspects of light, which means we're dealing with two different types of experiences throughout life based off the Sephiroth that we naturally operate in. A lot of us actually already have abundance in a couple, or maybe one to two, or maybe one Sephiroth. You know, different Sephiroths means different representations, and we can do that in another episode. Even the lower tree, different Sephiroths in the lower tree represents different meanings, and you have to know how to travel. I didn't always start with knowing both worlds. I don't know both worlds technically still. I'm still learning, but I realized where I was at. The more I became aware spiritually, I realized I was in a lower tree, which would be a left hand path, which would be more of a self initiation, more of a self responsibility, more of a self accountability. It's more so about self. Now you can say the tree of life, which you can connect to maybe the Bible or Christianity. They think of more of giving and selflessness. I was born into a selflessness type of tree and type of aspect on the upper tree, but it produces a lot of negative effects, because too much of anything can be a bad thing. So what I'm getting at is, you might want to know what you're studying, what you're on. You know, I would say get into Dion Fortune, the mystical Kabbalah, or just anything with the tree of life. Study more on, and if you want to know more about the tree of death, study more on that. So that's that. What I got to say for that. With that being said, moving. Okay, levels of consciousness. last but not least, I'm going to give y'all a little story time about levels of consciousness and how this relates to me and how maybe it could relate to you. There's think of or right, or you could say points on a basketball game or a football game, and the player. We're gonna start off with the emotions. 20 is that shame. 30 is that guilt. 50 is that apathy. 75 is grief. 100% is fear. 125 is desire. 150 is anger. 175 is pride. 200 is courage. 250 is neutrality. 310 is willingness. Remember how I was saying color vibrations too? Different colors means different things. You got to know what you're wearing. I'm wearing color black, but believe it or not, black is actually higher. It's one of the highest vibrations. But it's black because it's not easily perceived, and if what's not easily perceived, a lot of times it's not going to have an understanding for most people because it's misunderstanding, it's miscommunication because it's dark, you can't see through it. Even dark and black are two different colors. So when a person say, oh, I'm black, you're not black. They try to have us program, you're not black. This is black. This is black. Black is this. This is melanin, more brown, or whatever you want to describe it as. Don't mind that, yeah, if y'all heard that. All right. As I was saying, we got willingness 310, 350 acceptance, 400 inner light, 440 inner wisdom, 500 inner love, 540 open oneness, 600 presence, 670 non duality. Mind that later. 700 awareness, 800 the great void, 850 divine grace and love union, 900 supra causal truth will be a little bit upper, right under the 12th dimension. 1000 is full consciousness. Now, technically, as in this bodies that we are in, we are down here to have certain experiences, which goes back to the tree and where you at and what path you're traveling down. But um, I don't think one is able to perceive the 12th dimension, yet alone the eighth and up, maybe. But full consciousness, I don't think will be a way a person would be able to reach to, because it'll probably implode your whole entire body and disintegrate it, because the level of light and consciousness, you can say that's God. You can say that it's God, where if you really seen God, I don't think a person would be able to even perceive it because of how much light it brings and how much shine it's on the eyes or the body. It can probably make you lose it, the point of no return, so even the higher tree, right? Even if one was to get to Kether, you probably would go crazy because it's so much light. The tree of death, all the way at the bottom. Uh uh Samuel, the demon all the way at the bottom. That would be the point of no return, because it's like nobody can really go all the way up to the top unless you have a certain vehicle, which is this body. You have a certain, I don't know, like you got to have some type of powers or something to be able to perceive these levels or aspects of state of mind, and then be able to operate in it down here in this world when most people operate at shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, courage. These are all the emotions I've seen so far, out of myself and people. So then we're going to start off with also on the left side, it says hell. This, you see the red, it's like a little bit down here. Hell, purgatory, which third dimension. In between fourth dimension, you're kind of in between this physical world a lot, but you're also up there in your mind where you keep a good mindset. No matter what negative happens, you are all right because you got a good mind on your shoulders. Paradise, new humanity consciousness, inner wisdom, inner light. That's basically at peace with self. Nothing can affect you because you know where you are is supposed to be happening. You know what you're doing is supposed to be happening. Technically, I'm here and I'm like, I can be like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this right now. I know I'm supposed to be recording this. I'm at peace with it. No matter what happens, laptop can shut down or something. I don't know. No matter what happens, I'm at peace. So, with that being said, let's get y'all. Move this over. right? And then heaven, purple chakra or color purple and up. We got the absolute self, 1,000 supercosmic. We already said this. The galactic self, planetary self, higher self. This is where God or Creator would really be at or reside at. Higher self, whoever you refer to, Allah, whoever you refer to, Buddha, whoever. Even a demon. Some people worship, praise demons. Whoever you refer to as the higher self and up, this what they will reside at. I know it seems as if um, the higher tree is good or God is good, but what if what they teaching you is really the devil? What if the church and Christianity is the devil? Have anybody ever questioned that? Have you ever thought to yourself like, well, why is it that they built this? And then you think about the buildings and the churches and what is it about this and God and about that? And then they say, oh, that's because people don't know the word or the scripture or the meaning. And then you say, okay, well, if a person does know the word, you see them actually a diehard, try hard, or all in about God, or they know the whole Bible, the whole scripture, the whole Psalms front and back. That can even be a representation of higher self. And a lot of times, it can be a form of self empowerment, self realization. Because you're still working with the higher self because you're allowing yourself to be used as a vessel to channel a certain frequency or vibration or a certain state of mind. So being selfless can still get you to a certain state of mind that can get you to a higher consciousness level. So the story time I'm gonna give y'all and why I'm showing y'all this last but not least slide was when I was in a worried state of mind. A worried state of mind would be considered a fear, which would be the lower first one, two, three, four, the lower four emotions that we start at the bottom with: shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear. Which would be technically I was in I was in hell. Um, I was in a state of mind of worry and fear a lot when I was in my younger years, um, 17, 18, 19. I worried myself so much to the point where I was indecisive. And I graduated high school at 18, 17 turning 18, so technically 17. I graduated high school at 17. And I remember I was like, I don't know if I was the only one, but I remember being in class sometimes and it was like, we was talking about money and all that, and I was like, that ain't enough. So then I remember graduating, and I still was like, people celebrating, but we not done. Still ain't enough. So just because we celebrating does not mean life over with. We on to a whole new chapter now. We on to a whole new. I might have been able to get through life in school and making it through dodging and weaving through school, but that does not mean that was a guaranteed success for living life, like having the life skills and essential skills to get me where I need to be in life. And that's not nothing to do with money. That's having the emotional intelligence skills, the emotional regulation skills, the mental capacity to handle life challenges and stressors and problems. A lot of us are not taught these things. And a lot of times you end up falling. And you fall from the higher tree to the lower tree, which is where the demons are at. And sometimes people deem demons as bad, but what if the person, a stranger that you never met, was a demon? What if your mom? Anybody could be a demon. Your mama can. Well, not anybody can be a demon, but anybody can have demons on them. Anybody can be dealing with demons. But are demons going to deal with anybody? No. And I'm not here to talk about that. Just like angels are not going to be dealing with any and everybody if they know they're not serious. It's more so of a respect thing. It's about energy, and if you moving around here with these lower energies, your chances of getting help is actually going to be slim to none. So back to the story time, I fall from the higher tree to the lower tree by graduating, and I'm telling all my family members and people, I'm like, I'm not going to school. This is not what I want to do. I know I want to be self-employed. I want to work for myself, be an entrepreneur, whatever. I knew that. I just didn't have an idea of what that looks like because at the time, it was like right before COVID, wear mask shut down globally. It was around that time, and didn't know. I'm 17. Am I supposed to know? I'm 18 now. Am I supposed to know? I'm 19. Am I supposed to know? I'm 20. Am I supposed to know? Am I supposed to know? Am I? I mean, at this point, based off your life circumstances and life conditions, you got to know something because um, I remember telling my people that, and my mom was like, "Hey, you gotta go. You know, you ain't doing nothing." And I was working a job, but I let go of the job because I knew I wanted to do something different with myself in my life. But I just didn't know what that looked like. And now that I think about it, I kind of wasted a lot of time. But I'm not in regret about it. It's just I was worried about failing and not reaching where I wanted to be or where I needed to be. So I didn't make a decision. And not a choice is a choice. Not making a decision is a decision. So, I dealt a lot heavily with uncertainty. I overthinked a lot. I just remember being around family or just who I was at the time, 17, 18, 19, the identity. You can develop an identity around a certain emotion, which means you can be in a state of hell constantly. Hell is a state, it's a place. Think of a state where you move and live at and stay with. It's a place. Hell is a state of mind that you live in your mind, and you operate 24/7. You're thinking crazy. Your thought process is not the same as a person who would be in a willingness or neutrality fourth dimension state of mind. A person who's staying in a fourth dimension state of mind, they is not thinking about certain thought processes that a person who in shame or guilt or fear would have. It's not the same. It's not comparing. Not saying one's better than the other. It's just different states of mind that each individual chooses to operate in. You can choose to operate in a state of mind. A lot of times we have trauma. So I've had trauma that gave me the worry state of mind, and what led up to me worrying a lot was I remember as a kid, my mom would scream my name, yell my name or something, and actually I wouldn't even want to say this or say that. I just basically, due to life stressors and a single mom parent household, you know how that averagely goes. I kind of was the person everybody can lean on with me being the oldest, so I kind of had to step up to a role that I was unprepared for, but I still had to play it because who's to say that I didn't know how to play it, or who's to say that I knew how to play it? So it's just I stepped up to a lot of responsibility at a young age that when I made a mistake or failed, I worried because everybody in the household at least was depending on me or counting on me to make him feel better or feel happy or successful. And at least that was my experience and what I seen and what I felt like I was dealing with. And that's where the worry would come from because when I did it wrong and I didn't do it correct, there was punishments for it until I got it right. But practice makes perfect. Not making a mistake and then getting beat on for that mistake. So that's where the perfectionism would come in and developing a perfectionism tendency or mindset, which would be a state of mind of worry, because perfectionism is connected to worry, I would say, because and I'm not a diagnose here, so entertainment purposes only, but worrying will be connected to perfectionist state of mind or mindset because perfectionist is all about doing something right the first time without making a mistake. And if you're not allowing yourself to make a mistake, then that means you have a thought of in your head where if you do something wrong, you are afraid of a fear of consequence. So I was afraid of making a wrong choice in life when I graduated high school, not wanting to make a wrong decision. And I still made a decision that still technically was not the decision I would have preferred if I was who I am now. But it played out the way it did because of the worrying state of mind and the hell that I was putting myself through of thinking of failed scenarios. I was thinking of more failed scenarios than I was thinking of more successful scenarios. Worrying creates the overthinking and the perfectionistic state of mind where you got to be perfect all the time. So I'm over here thinking of all the worst scenarios instead of being thinking the best scenarios that would have led me to make a decision that way. So I thought of the worst scenario and made a decision to go with it unconsciously in a state of mind in the beginning of this PowerPoint, this episode that I'm showing y'all. In the beginning of this episode, I was talking about how reading to y'all how altered states of awareness. So I made an unconscious decision that was an unaware decision that led me to not making a choice to be out of my mom's house and forced to make a decision to leave, which was my decision, forced unconsciously to make a decision to leave. And The force was the unconscious altered state of awareness that I was not aware of, which put me in a hell and made me feel like I was losing or I was being punished by God, because that's made me feel like I was being punished by God. Let's say that. And if one person feel like, what if basically, in the Bible terms, sinning, a person may feel like they have sinned because something that's happening outside of them, they feel like is out of their control. It's really just a lower state of mind that you're not aware of, and God is showing you to become aware of it. But depends on how the person look at it, which means state of mind, which means if you in a hell state of mind, you missing the whole opportunity to bring something to your awareness or grow out of that current situation. Because God is showing you, and He's like, hey, look, you better pay attention. But if you in a hell state of mind, a lower shame, fear, guilt, apathy, you over here, different emotions, these different lower emotions, you experience different things. So you don't have time. Basically, you in survival mode. Basically, you either afraid or you grieving because somebody died and you was unprepared to deal with it. The apathy, the guilt, or the shame. You may be dealing with shame because you embarrassed or something, but truth be told, these are things that is part of life. These lower emotions that create a hell state of mind is actually a part of life, believe it or not. So yeah, went from my mom house to basically all my family members, and um, eventually it just led to me being homeless on the streets, worrying. The hell state of mind that I was in with worry, which would be fear, put me in the worst situation that I didn't want to be in, that I already imagined, and because I imagined it, it gave me that. God, actually, you could say God was giving me an opportunity to learn, but the amount of opportunities and chances that I was given, I didn't learn it in time. So now I was forced to go the hard route and lose everything and be sleeping in laundromats. And it was crazy. And this is what states of mind can get you at. This is what states of mind can put you at if you do not become aware of where you're at mentally. Because just as and mentally, the mental dimension was where I was at, dealing and struggling with the most. A lot of people might struggle with their emotions. A lot of people might struggle with their mental. I had emotional problems that I had to deal with, emotional baggage that I grew up when I was becoming older, that I picked up from around household trauma. But my biggest issue was the mental trauma that I went through because of not wanting to make a mistake, which started to produce fear of an outcome that didn't even exist unless I made it exist, unless I created it unconsciously in a hell state of mind. And that's where you get outcomes that happens over and over more than once, or where outcomes happens where you do not want it to happen, but it still happens because you created it. God said we are like Him, right? And we are in His own image. Why would you create something that you do not want? If hell ain't the other description to put it, I don't know what else. You can create paradise in your mind. Heaven is basically in your mind. Heaven is in a mind where you create and you stay in a state and you operate in more than one time throughout the day. Because what did the beginning of the slide I showed y'all? It says that it was the second slide. Um, a state of mind or an awareness that one operates at, the level of consciousness that a person operates at. And based off these different emotions, does really affect your level of consciousness, because the emotions is also connected to the mind too, which is why you need your emotions and your mind. You don't need one without, you cannot have one without the other. If you got all mind, then you're gonna most likely be operating out of no emotion, which is detachment. Technically, detachment is good because you do not need to be attached in life to objects, things, places, and people. However, though, you still need to be able to feel for certain things, because an emotion can be just as important and just as vital. Imagine you doing something you love that you've been doing since a kid, but you don't feel no emotion around it. You're not gonna feel the one, the urge to want to do it. You're not gonna, if you have no emotion and you're emotionless in life, you're not gonna have no connections with earth or people. You're not gonna be here to feel like a person. You're gonna actually become a parasite or some type of hell spirit, which this could connect to demons or certain things that can attract to you that may be negative about you that people see but you may not see because it's unconscious. um you know This is where you get people who are just not humanitarian. A lot of people don't, a lot of, what I'm saying, you may meet a person and they're not kind. What's important is, as long as somebody kind, everybody needs to be kind. But if a person is just mean or rude or cruel for no reason, or they, that face, that spirit about them, that aura about them, you just know, like, yeah, this person mean no good, this person don't have no good intentions. That's where you get all that from. So what did I do to deal with the state of mind of worry? I've dealt, I've still do to this day certain practices that may help, may not help, like meditation. Meditation is one. But I don't want to sound like some type of guru or something, like somebody where, oh, if you do this, then it work. Meditation is definitely a great tool. If you got to start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, this will help you take a step back. Um, the mental state of mind that I was in, I was not able to take a step back for a while. I was just worried and in fear and didn't know what to do with myself. Just was unsure, unconfident. You can take a walk in a park. You can read a book. You can take a hot shower, take a bath, take a cold shower. It's not that hard to change from a different state of mind, as people will make it seem or believe. It's not that hard at all. Technically, all you would need to do is just figure out something that makes you happy. Do you know a list of things that would make you happy? Do you know 5 things or 4 things or 3 things? Better yet, 2 things that can make you happy. Once you realize the 2 things that can make you happy, or the one thing, it'll put you in a different state of mind. Boom, just like that. So you figure out what can you do to stay in a state of mind. Whatever you got in mind that keeps you happy, figure out how can you activate that state of mind throughout your day, every day. That is the best way you can. That's the best thing you can do as far as whatever current situation or circumstance that you in. Make the best of it. Love yourself in your own love yourself in it. Smell your own love it. It's your You got to love yourself out of your current circumstance. That's the self-love is really the key. There's no other way, ands or buts, around that. Self-love is really the key. And without it, you kind of lost, and that's the best thing I can say, the best advice I can give. So yeah, you know, this is the video I got for y'all. If you haven't by now, like, comment, subscribe. This is the second episode. Fingers crossed that everything I've recorded and done for y'all, that it's on time, it's not delayed. And um, my Instagram that you can follow me on is _0, the number SAMA, the letter K. And obviously, this is on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. But my YouTube, Planet Z, PLANET -Z. And is there anything else? I got a website coming up soon. I think y'all will enjoy it. And that'll be planetzee.com. I'm hoping. Don't quote me on it. If not, I can put the link in the description. And what do y'all, what else y'all think? Some other ideas that I can do for y'all? Any other episodes that y'all want to see? What more do y'all want to see? Like, comment, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know. What did y'all think about this? This is a presentation for y'all to see, help y'all grow and evolve. And this channel is going to continue to evolve and shed light. I think my channel is going to be about, as a start though, I will be breaking down the lower tree as much as what I'm allowed to show, what I'm allowed to teach, because I do encourage y'all to do your own studying. And then we'll transcend to the higher tree as well and teach more about that too. So, yeah, man. If you learned something today, like, comment, subscribe. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. If you don't like what you see, drop a thumbs down. Get out the video or don't subscribe. But With that being said, love, healing, light, I'm out.